Hey Fab Fam, it's Vinny B with Dead on Board Gaming, and today I wanted to talk about the banned and restricted list update coming up on December 12th, and the idea of erratas versus bans, and kind of how my bias, I guess, this might not be the right word, but my bias towards not wanting erratas kind of slowly started changing as I kind of looked into a few of things that LSS has already done, has talked about in an article, and we're going to just kind of get into that. So, just real quick, I know a lot of people, just to kind of get where we're going with this, a lot of people think that Briar should be errated to elemental only damage, creating the embodiment tokens. I agree that's how it should be written, but it's not. And there's a few problems with erratas that you really kind of gotta look at. Considering that there's so many wrong Briars out, if you decide to errata it, functionally, which is the difference, because there's a difference between cleaning up wording and erratating the text on a card and changing it through a print when it doesn't do anything to the card. But to change Briar from attack action cards dealing damage to elemental attack action cards dealing damage it's a very big functional change to the card, right? So thinking about that and how it would affect new players coming in, because they're going to pick up the card, they're going to read the card. They're already kind of sketchy on the rules. It's a complex game. I feel like I'm saying complex weird. Anyways, it's a complex game. So like, if they come from a complex background, let's say Magic, which is a complex rules system also, you read these and you be very literal about the way they read, which is the way they intend it to be also. But what I'm saying is, if you change that and someone doesn't have the updated cards, let's say like 2 years from now, somebody buys a Briar, they get the old text Briar, they're just getting into the game, brand new, they're learning to play with their buddy at the kitchen table, they decide to go down to an armory, and boom, they're playing it the wrong way. All because there's thousands of Briar printed that way, right? That's yeah, that just doesn't work. Now I understand they have unlimited prints where they'll fix the text, but again, that doesn't fix it for when you buy one on the market, or for one I opened and maybe I didn't pay attention to the rules for a year because I fell off, or had another kid, or whatever reason. And I come back and I grab my Briar, and it's the wrong Briar. It's the wrong text on Briar. So that's my big issue, is that it'll cause a lot of confusion for people that aren't enfranchised. You know what I mean? People that don't pay attention to this stuff all the time. Now, let's go to what they've said, and they've made functional erratas since September 1st, 2020. So it's already happened multiple times. So now this is where I started to wane a little bit. I'm like, all right, well, they did it. Let's go ahead and get into it. So first I'll read what they had to say about erratas. So this is in the errata bulletins on their homepage. Trading card games are inherently complex game systems. Due to the constant creations of new game pieces, creating an exponential growth in the number of card interactions while simultaneously pushing the boundaries of the game rules, things will happen from time to time that warrant an update to the card's wording in order for it to function as intended. These factors could be the evolution of the game or the format rules, an oversight from the rules team, changes to templating, best practice, or simply a mistake being made. So right here they're saying they are embracing the fact that they can errata cards functionally if they wrote them wrong, missed an interaction, create a new interaction to where it needs. Now again, this isn't like buffs and minuses like you can do digitally. They're saying that they will do this strictly to make the card perform the way it's intended to perform. Whether it be because of an interaction of a new card that brought this card into playability and things like that, is at least the way I'm reading it. Maybe that's not exactly right. So anyways, when a card's effect is updated, it is considered to have received an errata. The only reason we will errata a card is to ensure the card functions in line with the intention of its design. So yeah, so basically what I just said. I guess I already read this and subconsciously was there to tell you, make it feel like I'm a psychic, but I'm not. If a card has received an errata, all versions of that card should be played as though they have the errated card text. So again, the confusion is the first or second time you go to a event and realize there's a difference. It's a one-time feel bad, and I guess if you're starting to go to events, you're probably a little more serious about it, and you probably already figured out the errata. Maybe not, but I assume you found some community and watched some things to learn the game and things like that. So I don't know. I just feel like 2 years from now it would be an issue, including the cards that we're about to talk about. So this is the errata bulletin. Only cards that received a functional change, and it's an errata that changes how the card works, as we were talking earlier. And cards that have received significant changes to their templating and or syntax, as to clarify that the changes are in fact non-functional. Errata bulletins do not include cards with minor text updates. Okay, so let's go to the first one. The first one that happened was Crimson Haze. When Crucible came out, they added a simple line to Ira that is young on her hero, which made her legal for Blitz, because technically she wasn't legal for Blitz. She was a full-grown hero with, I guess you would look at it as a balancing technique to give her less life, even though it wouldn't really make sense in like CC to go half-life. But the fact that it was a teaching tool and people fell in love with it, I think they went ahead, gave it the young thing, and made it, playable. I don't know. So they also did Gambler's Gloves. And the original text was, whenever a hero rolls a 6-sided die, you may destroy Gambler's Gloves. If you do, that hero rerolls the die. The new text is, if an effect would resolve that includes rolling a 6-sided die, instead you may destroy Gambler's Gloves. If you do, the controller of the effect rerolls all 6-sided dice rolled this way. That's so hard to say. So basically, they said the intention is very obvious. You use Gambler's Gloves to reroll Scab Skib Letters, Bonehead Barrier, Crazy Brew, and the KO effect. Unfortunately, this card was printed as a triggered ability. Doesn't achieve this intention. So they were using it as a triggered ability on the roll, I believe, is the way the old text read. I could be wrong. Tell me, because I'm having a hard time differentiating. I'm having a hard time saying that word, but differentiating between the two texts, really. But this allows it to happen upon resolution, so that's how I understand this change to happen. So that's the first two erratas that happen that actually change the way the card functions. So then they also... Okay, so they also did Seeds of Agony. The original text on Seeds of Agony was, the next attack action card with, this is the red, with cost 2 or less, you play this turn, gains, deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. The errata is, the next attack action card with cost, when you attack with this, deal 1 arcane damage to target hero. What's the old one? See, I'm so confused. Oh, okay. It says it gains. So the old text said it gains deal 1 arcane damage. So the way that would work with this wording would be that, like I said, multiples would become like one source of damage from the card itself, which isn't how it was intended to be played. It was intended to deal 1 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage, 1 damage. So that was the correction there, which was a good errata, and actually the way I figured the card worked. Like, until I started looking into this, I didn't even think about it that way. But it also probably happened very early into the thing, so probably got corrected in my brain and I just forgot. So that was the second errata that had happened. Going into the third, so November 5th of this year, they did Blizzard. It says, it has been brought to our attention that there is an obscure error that was highlighted by the technical interaction between Blizzard and Exude Confidence. Specifically, the current rules, as written, allow the passive player to play Blizzard targeting an attack action card when it is played, but before there is an attacking hero. This means that the opponent would not have the opportunity to pay the cost to prevent the effect from removing and going again, because they have not yet been assigned the attacking hero label for the chain. For this reason, we are giving a functional errata effective immediately. So it says, target attack loses unless its controller pays. I feel like it says the same thing. Okay, so it's a functional. Maybe it didn't change the words. For the reason we are giving a functional errata to Blizzard, effective immediately, this change aligns the window of play with the opponent being able to pay the cost of the resource effects, ensuring the card works as intended. This change will also allow Blizzard to function intuitively on ally attacks. Okay, so it must be the way the rule. It doesn't look like they actually changed the wording, just the window of play that you're able to use it for. So those are the functional changes that happen within the game that honestly I didn't even notice. But again, the wording was very close. And I guess maybe you can get away with using the essence of. Can they errata what essence of earth and lightning mean to make it mean that the abilities only work for the active elements on the hero? Like, I don't think that'd be too bad if they just changed what essence of lightning and earth meant. It just means that those are the type of cards that would do it, plus elementals. Like, it would just encompass elementals and the type that it plays inside of essence of, and that would change the text without changing the text. It just changes the meaning of the thing. I think that's actually the best thing. I think I solved it. I think that's the way to do it. So anyways, guys, that's what I really wanted to talk about, and like that just happened right here. I just figured that out. But anyways, guys, let me know what you think. Again, I was very against them, but after reading the things they made and then kind of thinking about what they could do, I actually think that's a pretty good answer if that was the route they were trying to go. Because I hate to see cards banned. We're not looking for banned cards, guys. We want these things to work as intended, and I do think this was intended to be used that way, but because of the limited format, which I think they tested very heavily for this set, it didn't work as well there. And I think that's kind of where we got lost in where Briar functioned. Because I think she did function that way at one point. And then they changed it at some point, probably with little testing towards the actual constructed format. Now realizing what it is, and the fact that the set doesn't have... Well, see, that's so weird. Because the set doesn't really have cards that wouldn't trigger this, right? How many cards don't trigger this inside the set? So it's so weird that they would change it if that's the reason. So I'm wrong there, I believe. But anyways, guys, I'm going to wrap this up. Again, I started with very against it. I am kind of for this errata on Briar, especially if they just go ahead and change what the essence of element means. And I think that's a very clean way to clean this up. Let me know what you guys think. Maybe I'm crazy, maybe I'm not. But I appreciate you guys. As always, thank you for being the best community in gaming. And we'll catch you guys next time. Thanks.